At precisely 6:17 a.m., Buckingham Palace received a call that would send shockwaves through the British monarchy. Within minutes, corridors once defined by tradition erupted into whispered panic. Royal aides scrambled. Security protocols shifted. And at the center of it all stood Princess Beatrice, pale, shaken, and clutching a discovery so explosive that King Charles himself would order an unprecedented emergency meeting. The morning had begun like countless others beneath the gilded ceilings of the palace, measured, predictable, and bound by centuries of ritual. But the ringing of a secure line shattered that fragile calm. The message was urgent, confidential, and unmistakably grave. Within moments, the machinery of the monarchy shifted into motion. Doors that had stood open for generations were quietly sealed. Telephones fell silent. Footsteps quickened along marble corridors. Hushed voices trembling beneath the weight of uncertainty. Royal staff, trained to embody composure, moved with unusual haste. Instructions were whispered rather than spoken. Security personnel took positions with quiet authority, their presence signaling that something had pierced the palace's carefully guarded serenity. Phones were restricted. Access was limited. Even seasoned courtiers, custodians of royal secrets, felt the chill of a crisis unfolding beyond their comprehension. Then came the arrival that would confirm their deepest fears. Princess Beatrice entered without ceremony, her composure fractured, her expression shadowed by something far more ominous than mere anxiety. She refused protocol. She refused conversation. Her only request, delivered with trembling resolve, was to see the king. Those who glimpsed her that morning spoke of a figure transformed, no longer the overlooked royal navigating the periphery of public life, but a woman burdened by knowledge too dangerous to conceal. Whispers spread through the palace like wildfire. A discovery. Hidden documents. A secret tied not merely to history, but to blood itself. Some spoke of a forgotten archive, sealed and buried beneath layers of silence. Others dared to suggest something far more destabilizing, a revelation capable of unsettling the very foundations of the crown. King Charles, informed in hushed urgency, responded with a decision that reverberated through the institution. All scheduled engagements were halted. Audiences were canceled. Public appearances quietly withdrawn. Such actions were rare, reserved only for moments of extraordinary consequence. The message was unmistakable. The monarchy stood at the threshold of a crisis unlike any in recent memory. Behind closed doors, speculation flourished. Courtiers exchanged uneasy glances. Advisors moved swiftly, summoned without explanation. The air grew heavy with anticipation, as though the palace itself sensed the gravity of what was about to unfold. What had Princess Beatrice uncovered? And why did it demand the immediate attention of the sovereign? The answer, it seemed, lay hidden within the fragile pages she carried, documents that whispered of a past long concealed, and a truth too perilous to remain buried. For generations, the monarchy had endured scandal, war, and revolution, its strength rooted in continuity and carefully guarded tradition. Yet now, within those ancient walls, a tremor of uncertainty threatened to disturb that legacy. As the palace walls closed in and silence replaced ceremony, the monarchy braced itself for a revelation that would challenge everything it believed about its own bloodline. What compelled Princess Beatrice, once regarded as a peripheral royal, to embark on a private investigation that would rock the House of Windsor? Hidden diaries, forgotten archives, and a cryptic letter led her down a path no royal had dared to tread. What she uncovered was not merely a secret, it was a truth so dangerous that it threatened to rewrite the monarchy's history forever. For much of her life, Princess Beatrice had existed in the shadowed margins of the royal narrative, respected, yet rarely central to its unfolding drama. Overshadowed by senior figures and bound by the quiet expectations of her station, she cultivated a reputation for discretion and composure. Yet beneath that composed exterior stirred a restless curiosity, an instinct sharpened by years of observing the monarchy's unspoken tensions. It was this instinct, subtle yet unyielding, that first drew her toward whispers of something hidden, something deliberately forgotten. The journey began not with ambition, but with coincidence. A visit to a secluded royal estate, one rarely mentioned and seldom visited, brought Beatrice face to face with a sealed archive long untouched. Within its guarded confines lay fragile documents and aging diaries, their pages heavy with secrets and silence. What she found there ignited a quiet storm within her, a sense that history itself had been carefully edited, reshaped to preserve the illusion of continuity. Among the brittle papers rested a single handwritten letter, its ink faded but its message unmistakable. Addressed to a former monarch and marked with the chilling instruction, never to be revealed, it bore the weight of a truth deliberately buried. The words, though restrained, hinted at a revelation of staggering consequence, a secret so perilous that generations had chosen silence over exposure. As Beatrice read, the world she had always known began to fracture, the foundations of royal legacy trembling beneath her understanding. The discovery did not bring clarity, it brought turmoil. Torn between loyalty and conscience, she wrestled with the implications of what she had uncovered. Each new page deepened the mystery, stirring questions she could neither silence nor ignore. Sleep eluded her. Doubt crept in like a shadow. Could she remain silent, preserving tradition? Or was she now bound by a duty far greater than protocol, the duty to truth? Recognizing the enormity of her burden, Beatrice sought the counsel of a trusted historian, a discreet confidant whose loyalty to the crown was matched only by a devotion to history itself. Bound by oath and secrecy, the historian examined the documents with measured gravity. Confirming what Beatrice had begun to fear, the discovery pointed not merely to scandal, but to the possibility of a concealed lineage and identity hidden within the folds of royal history, guarded for generations by silence and sacrifice. With each revelation, the implications grew more profound. If true, the secret threatened to alter not only the narrative of the past, but the legitimacy of the present. It whispered of decisions made in shadows, of truths suppressed to preserve stability, and of a monarchy built upon a legacy more fragile than anyone dared to imagine. The weight of this knowledge transformed Beatrice, elevating her from a peripheral figure to an unlikely bearer of truth, one entrusted with a secret capable of shaking the very foundation of the crown. Yet the burden could not remain hers alone. The evidence, undeniable and explosive, demanded the attention of the sovereign. Every moment of silence felt like complicity. Every heartbeat echoed with the urgency of revelation. And so, fortified by courage and haunted by doubt, Beatrice gathered the documents, knowing that their contents would ignite a reckoning unlike any the monarchy had faced. With trembling hands and a heart burdened by truth, Beatrice prepared to reveal her findings to the one man whose decision could alter the fate of the crown. Behind sealed doors and beneath the weight of centuries-old authority, an emergency meeting convened unlike any in modern royal history. King Charles summoned his most trusted advisors, senior royals, and constitutional experts. What unfolded within that private chamber was a confrontation of truth, loyalty, and legacy, an extraordinary gathering where tradition collided with a revelation powerful enough to fracture the monarchy forever. The summons had been swift and uncompromising. No delays. No explanations. Only urgency. Senior members of the royal household arrived with quiet apprehension, their composure concealing unease that few dared to voice. Prince William entered with measured restraint, the future of the crown reflected in his solemn gaze. Queen Camilla followed, her calm presence masking the gravity she sensed in the air. Constitutional authorities and royal advisors assembled in silence, each aware that they were witnessing a moment that could alter the course of history. At the center of it all stood Princess Beatrice, her resolve forged by the burden of truth. The fragile documents she carried once hidden, now undeniable, rested like a silent verdict against the past. The room fell into a tense, unbroken stillness as she began to speak. Her voice, steady yet weighted with emotion, recounted the path that had led her to this moment, the sealed archive, the forbidden letter, the historian's confirmation. With each word, the illusion of certainty began to unravel. Shock rippled through the chamber. Disbelief followed, sharp and immediate. Some voices faltered in protest, unwilling to accept what they were hearing. Others remained silent, their expressions betraying quiet outrage at the implications of a truth long concealed. The revelation struck not merely as scandal, but as betrayal and echo from history that now demanded reckoning. Tradition, once unassailable, trembled under the weight of possibility. As the evidence was laid bare, the conversation turned from emotion to consequence. Constitutional experts examined the implications with grave precision, their measured tones underscoring the enormity of the discovery. Could the revelation challenge the legitimacy of the monarchy itself? Would acknowledgement risk destabilizing the crown? Or would silence invite a far greater reckoning? Questions multiplied, each more perilous than the last. The room, once defined by ceremony, now pulsed with tension and uncertainty. At the heart of the gathering sat King Charles, burdened by a decision no sovereign in modern memory had been forced to confront. Duty pressed heavily upon him, an unyielding reminder of the oath he had sworn to protect the institution above all else. Yet beneath the weight of the crown lay the vulnerability of a man confronted by truths that struck at the very core of his inheritance. Loyalty to family warred with loyalty to legacy. Each silence from the king carried more weight than any spoken word. Prince William's measured reflections spoke of a monarchy shaped by transparency, while Queen Camilla urged caution, her counsel rooted in the preservation of stability. The divide between past and future grew ever sharper, a silent fault line beneath the institution they were sworn to defend. And with every passing moment, the chilling realization took hold: the monarchy's legitimacy, its very foundation, stood at risk. The air thickened with inevitability. What had begun as a secret discovery had become a reckoning, one that threatened to redefine the crown and those who bore its weight. As voices rose and fell, and centuries of tradition trembled beneath the strain, the truth could no longer be contained. As the meeting reached its crescendo, the revelation unveiled by Beatrice would expose a secret the monarchy had guarded for generations. What Beatrice revealed stunned even the most seasoned royal insiders. Hidden within fragile documents and sealed correspondence lay a truth so explosive it threatened to upend centuries of royal tradition. A secret lineage, a concealed identity, and a decision made long ago to protect the crown at any cost. As the evidence unfolded, the monarchy's carefully crafted narrative began to crumble. The fragile papers she placed before the assembly carried more than ink and parchment; they carried the weight of history rewritten in silence. Each document spoke in whispers of a past deliberately obscured, a lineage concealed to preserve continuity at a moment when the stability of the crown hung by a thread. What had once been dismissed as rumor now stood undeniable, supported by seals, signatures, and testimonies preserved in secrecy. The revelation was stark and unforgiving. The royal bloodline, long regarded as immutable, had been quietly altered by a decision forged in crisis and bound by loyalty. A hush settled over the room as the implications began to sink in. The revelation did not merely challenge history, it challenged identity itself. Evidence suggested that generations earlier, a calculated cover-up had been orchestrated to shield the monarchy from scandal and unrest. A truth deemed too dangerous for public knowledge had been buried beneath layers of silence, its guardians sworn to secrecy in service of the crown's survival. In that moment, the monarchy's greatest strength, its continuity, revealed itself as its most fragile illusion. Emotions stirred with quiet intensity. Disbelief gave way to unease, and unease to outrage, as senior royals confronted the magnitude of the secret before them. The betrayal felt deeply personal, as though the past itself had conspired to deceive them. Some struggled to reconcile loyalty with truth, while others remained silent, their composure strained by the gravity of what they now understood. The revelation did not simply expose history, it fractured trust, forcing each witness to confront the unsettling question of what else had been concealed in the name of preservation. Amid the tension, Queen Camilla's voice emerged with measured clarity. Calm, deliberate, and unwavering, she urged restraint and careful judgment. Her counsel was neither denial nor alarm, but strategy and appeal to protect the institution without surrendering to chaos. She spoke not only as consort but as guardian of stability, reminding the king that the monarchy's endurance had always depended upon discretion as much as truth. Her words lingered in the chamber, steadying the rising tide of uncertainty while acknowledging the peril that lay ahead. Prince William, silent yet resolute, absorbed the revelation with a gravity that spoke louder than any declaration. As heir to the throne, he carried the weight of a future shaped by this moment. His contemplation was not merely personal, it was generational. The monarchy he was destined to inherit now stood at a crossroads between tradition and transparency, its legitimacy poised upon the edge of revelation. In his silence rested a recognition that the future would demand courage equal to that of the past, and perhaps a reckoning long overdue. Beyond the chamber's guarded walls, the implications loomed large. Should the truth emerge, it could reshape public perception, stirring both fascination and doubt. The monarchy's authority, built upon continuity and reverence, risked scrutiny unlike any it had faced in modern memory. Yet concealment carried its own peril, for secrets once awakened rarely remain buried. The discovery threatened not only to redefine history, but to test the very faith upon which the crown depended. At the heart of the storm stood King Charles, burdened by a decision that would define his reign. Duty demanded preservation. Conscience demanded truth. The documents before him were more than evidence, they were a reckoning, a silent challenge from history itself. As the weight of legacy pressed upon him, the path forward grew increasingly uncertain, shadowed by consequences that could either strengthen the monarchy or shatter it beyond repair. With the truth laid bare, King Charles faced an impossible choice: protect the crown's legacy or confront a scandal that could redefine it forever. Alone within the gilded walls of his private study, King Charles confronted the weight of history pressing upon his shoulders. The revelation presented by Beatrice demanded a decision no monarch had faced in modern times. Should he protect the institution at all costs, or risk exposing a truth that could shatter centuries of tradition and forever alter his reign? Silence became his closest confidant as the magnitude of the discovery settled upon him. The documents lay before him like fragments of a fractured past, each page whispering of loyalty, deception, and sacrifice. For a monarch raised in the shadow of duty, the burden was not merely political, it was deeply personal. The crown, long revered as a symbol of continuity, now trembled beneath the weight of a truth that threatened to unravel its most sacred foundation. Transparency promised integrity, yet preservation promised stability. Between these opposing forces, the king stood alone, suspended between conscience and obligation. His thoughts drifted inevitably to the legacy of his mother, Queen Elizabeth II, whose reign had embodied steadfast resolve in the face of turmoil. She had carried the crown through wars of perception, scandals of state, and the relentless gaze of the modern world. Her guiding principle had been unwavering: protect the monarchy, endure in silence, and allow time to heal what truth might endanger. Now, confronted with a secret buried deep within the royal bloodline, Charles grappled with the haunting question of whether her wisdom demanded discretion or whether a new era required a different courage. In this moment of solitude, Queen Camilla's counsel echoed with quiet authority. She urged caution, not from fear, but from an understanding of history's unforgiving nature. Stability, she reminded him, had always been the monarchy's greatest shield. The crown's strength lay not only in its lineage but in its resilience, carefully preserved through restraint and discretion. Her words offered neither comfort nor absolution, only the stark reminder that a sovereign's duty was measured not by sentiment, but by the endurance of the institution he was sworn to protect. Prince William's perspective lingered with equal weight. As heir to the throne, he represented a generation shaped by transparency, accountability, and an unrelenting public gaze. He believed the monarchy must evolve to survive, that truth, however unsettling, could forge trust in an age of skepticism. His quiet conviction stood in contrast to tradition, presenting a vision of renewal that both inspired and unsettled the king. Between past and future, father and son, the crown hovered at a crossroads where every choice carried consequence. The emotional toll of leadership pressed heavily upon Charles, revealing the profound solitude of kingship. Beneath the regalia and reverence lay a man confronting an inheritance fraught with complexity. Every decision carried echoes of history. Every silence bore the weight of expectation. To rule was to endure, to bear the triumphs and the suffering alike, bound by a legacy that demanded sacrifice without recognition. In this moment, the crown felt less like an honor and more like an unyielding responsibility, one that required courage not only to preserve but perhaps to reveal. Gradually, his thoughts turned toward the possibility of a historic public statement, an address that could confront the truth and redefine his reign. Such a declaration would resonate far beyond palace walls, reverberating across nations and generations. It promised clarity, yet threatened upheaval, redemption, yet risked division. The decision loomed before him, immense and irreversible, a reckoning that would shape not only his legacy but the future of the monarchy itself. Outside, the world remained unaware of the storm gathering within the heart of the crown. Yet history was already in motion, its course shaped by a sovereign standing at the edge of revelation. As doubt and duty converged, Charles understood that whatever path he chose would echo through time, altering the narrative of a dynasty built upon silence and endurance. As dawn approached, the king's choice would set into motion a chain of events that could either strengthen the monarchy or bring it to the brink of crisis. Even as Buckingham Palace struggled to contain the revelation, whispers began to escape its guarded corridors. Journalists sensed an unfolding crisis. Social media erupted with speculation. From London to New York, the world watched anxiously as rumors of a royal scandal spread like wildfire. The question on everyone's lips was simple yet chilling: what secret had forced the king into an emergency meeting? Inside the palace, calm dissolved into urgency. Aides moved with quiet precision, their voices hushed, their instructions coded with discretion. Every communication was scrutinized, every movement measured. Yet secrecy, once the monarchy's greatest shield, now felt increasingly fragile. The truth, dangerous, electric, and impossible to silence, pressed against the walls of tradition, threatening to spill into the public realm. Attempts to contain the revelation became a delicate dance between concealment and inevitability, as royal officials scrambled to preserve stability while fearing the consequences of exposure. Beyond the palace gates, the world's media sensed vulnerability. Newsrooms buzzed with speculation, their headlines poised for confirmation. Seasoned royal correspondents spoke in cautious tones, hinting at an unprecedented crisis unfolding behind closed doors. The absence of public appearances, the sudden cancellation of engagements, and the king's silence fueled a storm of conjecture. From London's press circles to international broadcasters, the narrative gained momentum, transforming whispers into headlines and suspicion into global intrigue. On social media, the storm erupted with unrestrained force. Theories spread at lightning speed, each more sensational than the last. Some claimed the discovery involved a hidden heir. Others whispered of concealed documents and a buried lineage that could challenge centuries of royal continuity. Hashtags surged. Debates ignited. Millions watched, speculated, and dissected every rumor with relentless fascination. In the digital age, silence no longer protected, it provoked. And with each passing hour, the monarchy's carefully maintained mystique was tested by the unforgiving glare of public scrutiny. The comparisons were inevitable. Commentators recalled past royal scandals, moments when tradition collided with truth and the crown's resilience was pushed to its limits. From abdications to controversies that shook public confidence, history offered a sobering reminder that the monarchy's survival had always depended upon its ability to endure storms of revelation. Yet this moment felt different, more precarious, more profound. The whispers surrounding Princess Beatrice's discovery hinted not merely at scandal, but at a secret capable of redefining the monarchy's very identity. Trust, once unquestioned, now hung in fragile balance. The public's fascination was matched only by its demand for transparency, and the monarchy's silence risked eroding the reverence it had long commanded. Observers wondered whether the institution could reconcile its ancient traditions with the expectations of a modern world that demanded truth over discretion. Each unanswered question deepened the tension, transforming curiosity into anticipation, and anticipation into pressure. At the center of the storm stood King Charles, burdened not only by history, but by the unrelenting gaze of the world. The pressure to address the nation grew with each passing moment. Advisors urged caution, yet the silence grew louder, echoing across continents and shaping the narrative beyond his control. The possibility of a public announcement loomed ever closer, an address that could either restore confidence or ignite a reckoning that would alter the monarchy forever. As speculation reached a fever pitch, the world awaited a response from Buckingham Palace, one that could either calm the storm or unleash it. For centuries, the British monarchy has endured war, scandal, and revolution, yet never has it faced a revelation quite like this. As the weight of Beatrice's discovery settled over the royal family, questions of legacy, identity, and truth loomed large. Could the crown withstand the shock of its own hidden past, or would history finally demand its reckoning? The echoes of history stirred uneasily within the corridors of power, reminding all who served the crown that survival had never come without sacrifice. From abdications that reshaped destiny to scandals that tested public faith, the monarchy had weathered storms that threatened to unravel its very existence. Yet this moment felt different, more intimate, more perilous. It was not merely a crisis of reputation, but a confrontation with identity itself, a secret rising from the depths of time to challenge the continuity upon which the crown had long depended. Within the royal family, the strain was palpable. Silence lingered where certainty once prevailed, and trust trembled beneath the weight of revelation. Conversations grew guarded, measured not only by duty but by doubt. The discovery had unsettled more than tradition, it had unsettled belief. Each member of the family grappled with the knowledge in their own way, torn between loyalty to the institution and the quiet ache of truth that refused to remain buried. Beneath the titles and ceremonies, they were bound together not only by lineage, but by the shared burden of uncertainty. At the center of this unfolding drama stood Princess Beatrice, transformed by circumstance from a peripheral figure into an unlikely catalyst for change. Once regarded as a quiet presence on the margins of royal life, she now bore the weight of a revelation capable of altering history. Her courage, born of conviction and tempered by doubt, reshaped her place within the monarchy. No longer overlooked, she emerged as a symbol of conscience, proof that even those in the shadows could illuminate truths long concealed. Prince William, too, found himself drawn into the gravity of the moment. As heir to the throne, he represented the fragile bridge between tradition and modernity. The revelation forced him to confront a future defined not only by inheritance, but by responsibility. His quiet resolve reflected a vision of a monarchy shaped by transparency and trust, one capable of adapting to the expectations of a new era. Yet the path forward was fraught with uncertainty, and the decisions made in these shadowed hours would define not only his reign, but the legacy he would inherit. Beyond palace walls, the public watched with a mixture of fascination and empathy. The unfolding drama captured imaginations across the globe, transforming whispers into debate and speculation into reflection. For some, the revelation stirred doubt. For others, it deepened their connection to an institution that had endured through generations. The monarchy's struggle to reconcile its ancient traditions with the demands of modern transparency became a story not merely of power, but of humanity, of triumph and suffering entwined beneath the weight of expectation. As tension mounted, the crown faced its most delicate challenge: to preserve its heritage while confronting the truths that history had long concealed. The balance between secrecy and sincerity grew increasingly fragile, and the choices ahead carried consequences that would echo through time. At the heart of this reckoning stood King Charles, burdened by a decision that would shape his reign and define his place in history. As the monarchy stood at the edge of transformation, the king prepared to address the world with a decision that would echo through history. Under the glare of global cameras and the weight of centuries-old tradition, King Charles stepped forward to deliver a statement unlike any in modern royal history. The world held its breath as he prepared to confront the truth revealed by Princess Beatrice. Would his words preserve the crown, or expose a secret that would forever redefine the monarchy and his place within it? The anticipation had reached its peak. Across continents, millions waited in silence, drawn together by a singular moment that promised revelation or reckoning. The monarchy, long shielded by ritual and reverence, now stood exposed before an audience more watchful than ever before. This was no ordinary address. It was a moment suspended between past and future, a reckoning shaped by legacy and illuminated by truth. Every word the king would speak carried the weight of history, and every pause held the power to alter it. King Charles began with solemn dignity, his voice measured yet resolute. He spoke not merely as a sovereign, but as a custodian of an institution that had endured through centuries of triumph and turmoil. With deliberate clarity, he acknowledged the discovery brought forward by Princess Beatrice, an act of courage that had forced the monarchy to confront a truth long concealed. His words resonated with both gravity and grace, honoring tradition while recognizing the necessity of reckoning. In that acknowledgement, the crown revealed not weakness, but a willingness to face its own past. As his statement unfolded, emotion rippled quietly through the royal family. Those closest to him bore the weight of the moment with silent composure, their expressions reflecting pride, apprehension, and resolve. Princess Beatrice, once a peripheral figure, now stood at the center of a historic turning point. her courage echoing beyond palace walls. Prince William listened with thoughtful intensity, embodying the future of a monarchy poised between continuity and change. Queen Camilla's steadfast presence offered reassurance, her calm resolve reinforcing the delicate balance between revelation and preservation. The king's words struck a careful harmony, neither surrendering to scandal nor retreating into silence. He spoke of responsibility, of heritage, and of the enduring duty to uphold the integrity of the crown. With measured candor, he affirmed that truth, though often difficult, was essential to the monarchy's survival in an age defined by transparency. Yet he also emphasized continuity, assuring the world that the institution remained steadfast, its foundations resilient despite the tremors of revelation. It was a declaration of strength tempered by humility, a testament to a monarchy determined not merely to endure, but to evolve. Around the world, reactions unfolded with extraordinary intensity. Commentators analyzed every phrase, historians reflected upon its significance, and citizens across nations responded with a mixture of fascination and reflection. Some saw courage in the king's acknowledgement, a renewal of trust in an institution willing to confront its own history. Others sensed the fragility of tradition under scrutiny, questioning what the future might hold. In that moment, the monarchy ceased to be a distant symbol and became a living narrative, one shaped by human vulnerability, resilience, and the relentless passage of time. As the address concluded, its impact reverberated far beyond the boundaries of the palace. The king had spoken not only to his nation, but to the world, confronting uncertainty with dignity and resolve. Yet beneath the calm authority of his words lingered an unspoken truth: the revelation had altered the monarchy forever. The path ahead remained uncertain, shadowed by consequences yet to unfold, and shaped by a legacy now irrevocably transformed. As the echoes of the king's words reverberated across the globe, a new chapter for the monarchy began, one shaped by truth, resilience, and uncertainty. In the days that followed, the world watched as the British monarchy grappled with the consequences of Beatrice's shocking discovery. Public opinion shifted. Historians reevaluated centuries of royal history. And within palace walls, a new era quietly began to emerge. The revelation had changed everything, yet its full impact remained uncertain, leaving one haunting question: had the crown been strengthened or irreversibly altered? Across continents, debates ignited with relentless intensity. Commentators dissected the king's address, weighing its candor against the monarchy's enduring need for discretion. Some hailed the revelation as an act of courage, proof that the crown could confront its past with dignity and evolve with the times. Others viewed it with skepticism, questioning whether the institution's foundations had been shaken beyond repair. From London's historic press rooms to global news networks, the monarchy once again stood at the center of a narrative that transcended borders, capturing the imagination of millions and stirring a renewed fascination with its legacy. Within academic circles, historians and scholars turned their attention to the fragile threads of royal history. Documents once dismissed as rumor were revisited with newfound urgency, their implications scrutinized beneath the lens of modern inquiry. The past, long regarded as immutable, appeared suddenly fluid, open to reinterpretation and debate. Generations of carefully preserved narratives were questioned, their silences examined with fresh curiosity. What had once been accepted as tradition now stood illuminated by uncertainty, revealing the delicate interplay between myth, memory, and truth. Amid this global reckoning, Princess Beatrice emerged as an unexpected and transformative figure within the royal narrative. No longer confined to the margins, she stood as a symbol of courage and conscience, her discovery reshaping both perception and purpose. Public sentiment shifted in her favor, recognizing the strength required to challenge centuries of secrecy. Her role, once understated, now carried historic significance, elevating her from overlooked royal to pivotal architect of a moment that would forever define the monarchy's evolution. Within Buckingham Palace, efforts to rebuild trust unfolded with deliberate care. The monarchy, long rooted in tradition, began to embrace the language of transparency and renewal. Advisors spoke of modernization, of forging a future aligned with the expectations of a new generation. Carefully measured reforms signaled a quiet transformation and acknowledgement that resilience demanded adaptation. The crown, tempered by revelation, sought not merely to endure, but to reaffirm its relevance in an age defined by scrutiny and change. Emotionally, the royal family navigated a path toward reconciliation. Beneath the formality of titles and duty lay a shared vulnerability born of truth and uncertainty. Conversations once constrained by silence gave way to reflection and understanding, as loyalty and legacy intertwined with personal resolve. King Charles, burdened yet resolute, found solace in unity, while Prince William's steady vision offered hope for continuity. In the quiet strength of familial bonds, the monarchy rediscovered its humanity, reminding the world that behind the institution stood individuals bound not only by heritage, but by courage. Yet even as clarity emerged, an enduring mystery lingered. Questions remained unanswered, fragments of history still shrouded in shadow. The hidden truth that had sparked the crisis refused to settle into certainty, leaving echoes of intrigue that would captivate generations to come. In that uncertainty lay both peril and possibility, a reminder that the crown's story, like history itself, was ever unfolding, shaped by secrets revealed and secrets yet to be uncovered. As the dust of revelation settled, reflection gave way to resolve. The monarchy stood transformed, tempered by adversity and fortified by resilience. Its legacy, once defined by silence, now bore the imprint of truth and evolution. And as the world continued to watch with fascination and anticipation, one truth remained undeniable. The discovery that began with Princess Beatrice had forever altered the destiny of the British crown. As history continues to unfold, one truth remains undeniable: the discovery that began with Princess Beatrice has forever changed the destiny of the British monarchy.